Welcome to Reject the Now, the podcast where we talk about how everything sucks and nothing is good, and how everything from our past was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Today we're talking about Star Wars
Uh,
and the fall of Star Wars. And there's a good quote here, and I hope that Disney looks at their new movie. This isn't even from a new movie. It's from their last episode of the Skywalker trilogy called the second to last, the last Jedi, which was the worst movie of all time. And it's a quote from that movie. And I hope that Disney can learn from their own mistakes. And this is the quote is from Yoda. And he said, "The greatest teacher failure is."
I mean, that's extremely fit. Given Disney's current situation with not just their movies, with all of their IP, the way they're handling everything, even their biggest cash cow, the Disney parks, which we've talked about already, it seems like the leadership is so inconsistent, and whoever's making the decisions around Star Wars, it boggles my mind how much they've fumbled this IP, how much they've wasted all the goodwill that Star Wars had built up.
I have so many more amazing quotes that you could just take from Star Wars about the current Star Wars, like this one right here. This one's from Emperor Palpatine in Episode 3. Too late,
right?
For what? The Republic to fall? It already has, and you just can't see it.
Yeah.
And then this is the one that really resonates with me because this is how I feel.
Excuse me.
This is from Episode 3. I'll start over.
It's all right. I don't care.
This quote is from Episode 3, and this is the one how I feel. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi when he's talking to Anakin, says, "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you."
I mean,
and then Star Wars replies back to me and says, "I hate you."
Yeah, Rich, how's that one?
Because you know why? Because Star Wars and Disney hates the fan. They hate the original fans. They don't want the original fans to like Star Wars anymore. They only care about this new group of new.
You know
fans.
why? Do you know why
they
don't like the original fans?
Well, because Star Wars fans are a cancer. They are.
We're all cock male oppressors. That's why they don't like us. They want to. Kathleen Kennedy wants Star Wars to be a new. She wants to repackage a beloved generational product like Star Wars that was loved mostly by men. I mean, there's girls who enjoy Star Wars. My wife watched Star Wars. Let's say
majority is clear.
The majority. It's clearly boys. Okay, men at this point. You know, we're the ones that have the toys. We're the ones that buy the lightsabers. We're the ones that quote the movie to know.
We're the ones that are all at the movies and the conventions and dressing up and stuff.
The first cold day, I say the line every year. It's as cold as hot outside. Every year. without fail. And I get people, their eyes roll at me. Like, we're the ones who love this IP. Yet Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, and I specifically blame her because she's in charge of Lucasfilm, which is in complete disaster right now. She did this. She, because of her vision, her story, she wants to rewrite Star Wars in her image. And you know what? She did it. And she officially destroyed my love of probably my most favorite thing in this world. Lucasfilm was one of my favorite things. And I don't care about it anymore. It literally
seems to be sacrificing the old fans to gain these new fans. And I don't understand why.
They're not there.
It seems like, what are you doing? You're like stepping on your own foot.
Yep.
Like, you have the cash cow, you have the fans, you have the people that made the trilogies that Lucas made in the top whatever grossing box offices, and the purchasing of all of the memorabilia and all those rights and all that kind of stuff. You have that.
Yep.
Why would you disrupt that just to get female fans for some reason? Like, you're going to have the female fans, but I don't understand why you need to really. I don't understand why you need to push this female-led agenda, and I know why they're doing it, but I'm not going to get into it because then there'll be a whole rabbit hole of conspiracy theories involving George Soros and social money and whatever. social credit scores, and I'm not getting into that right now. But
they didn't follow the basic tenet of give your customers what you want, and they continue to do this with everything. Like I said, the parks, the movies, whatever, Disney Plus, they're not giving the fans what they want. It'd be like McDonald's investing heavily, like getting rid of half their menu and making half their menu vegan. The typical McDonald's purchaser is going there for fat chicken nuggets, sauce made of God knows what, and disgusting cheeseburgers and fries. They don't want vegan options. That's why McDonald's doesn't sell vegan food. Disney has Star Wars, and we wanted great character building. We wanted new heroes. We wanted based on the original to build on. And what they did was kill off. Look what they did to the original characters. Luke Skywalker went from a legendary hero, one of the biggest heroes in movie history. Would you not agree?
Yeah, 100%.
To a bitter, grumpy old man who just throws his lightsaber off a cliff because he doesn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, the lightsaber that like is so cherished and all this other stuff, and then
like we all have them.
And then he dies. He dies because he got tired.
Yes, he gets tired. Han Solo, deadbeat dad, just gets killed off.
All right, I disagree with that one. I didn't like it because Han Solo is one of my favorite characters, and I didn't want him to die. But I know that Harrison Ford.
I know he didn't want to play the character
to do the movie.
I feel like you could have given him a little bit more.
But I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand why they did each movie as like a death to the big three.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
Each one was, even though that wasn't the original idea anyway. The original idea, like Leia was supposed to restart the Jedi Order and all this other stuff. But like the original screenplay ideas that were going to be what the new trilogy was, I think that Lucas made were incredible.
Oh yeah,
and then,
I read
even,
the synopsis
and even the books. Yeah, the synopsis of
what he wanted.
They were talking about what they were going to do with 7, 8, 9, and then the books that were made that were struck from the canon that I read, those were good too, but not as good as this other story that I saw.
No,
all of it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as I saw that,
when I read that,
like they had storyboards. They had storyboards of it. I'm like, what are you doing?
I got even more.
Who came in and screwed this up?
Yep.
And then what bothers me the most is that they purchased Star Wars for an ungodly amount of money. I don't remember how many billions of dollars it was. But then they go in and they make this trilogy with no clear-cut plan at all.
Yep.
They were just winging it.
And I'm like, you gave it to a bunch of 8th graders and said, all right, do your reports, and everyone came in with something different.
I'm like, how do you wing it with one of the biggest IPs in all of entertainment history?
I would argue it's the biggest.
It has to be.
Biggest hold in pop culture, biggest hold in the retail market.
You're not going to have any kind of clear path or like story arc that you know what's going to happen. Like Lucas kind of knew what was going to happen, even though the scripts weren't written yet. He knew what was going to happen in the story. That's why it started at episode 4. He knew that there was a trilogy that he wanted to do before, and he knew that there was 2 other movies that had the story arc afterwards. And then they just go in and just go, remake A New Hope with different characters. Make the main character a girl. We'll do it on a planet that's literally Tatooine, but not. And we'll name it something different.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Nobody will care.
And the new Empire will make a Death Star thing.
Again.
And it can kill more than one planet this time. And Snoke, we don't know who this guy is. There's no backstory for him.
Don't know.
We have no idea who he is. And then when he fails as a character, they're like, "Oh, we'll just let's just kill him quick, whatever."
And they did.
And then, do we want to explain any of his backstory? Nah, we'll just show him floating in a tank somewhere.
Imagine if they did this with like Marvel. Imagine if they did this with Infinity War. Like you introduce Thanos, he's this mega powerhouse, and then they just kill him off like very quick in Infinity War. How pissed off would you have been?
Well, like
instead of letting him win.
This is the big argument that I have with this: is that say what you will about what Marvel has become now, but the early phases, the Infinity War saga,
they were great.
Was super well planned out.
Yep. Well, that's the difference.
It was one large story that all came to a head at the end with all the different cameos that you needed to get the, member berries. Member berries?
Hi, member.
Hey. And then, like,
out of the way, member.
Worked. And they both were owned by the same company at the same time.
I know.
And you saw Marvel doing this thing where you had one streamlined story and it was like going to end at this one big epic thing that made like the most money ever.
Yes.
And then you have Star Wars doing this all over the fucking place.
I would say they kind of shot themselves in the foot because they did too good of a job with the Marvel and the Infinity Stone saga. It was too good that they can't duplicate that kind of success again. But that's a whole other episode.
The Marvel, let's get away from Marvel.
That's a whole nother episode.
But I was just saying that Marvel right, followed a clear path and Star Wars.
Well, that's the difference. With good leadership and a clear vision, look what Disney can accomplish. But then why did they hand it over to Kathleen Kennedy, who is nothing more than someone who basically brought Steven Spielberg his coffee in the morning?
Yeah, she's just been riding coattails of men that did really good jobs for years and years and years.
They gave her Star Wars and ruined it. I mean, I would call it a complete disaster. I know some people, some Star Wars fans, you in particular, and your buddies, and you guys are saying there's some serviceable stuff that Disney has done. And yet, I'll agree. Mandalorian season 1, very good. Season 2 got a little repetitive, but I still enjoyed it.
I still enjoyed season 2.
Rogue One, I liked.
Rogue One,
I enjoyed.
Phenomenal.
Everything else has been complete horseshit.
I'd argue Rogue One is maybe in like my top 4.
Yeah,
it might be the next best movie after the original trilogy.
And I would be right there with you. I really enjoyed To me, Rogue One is the only thing that Disney has put together, movie-wise,
felt
like Star Wars.
Yeah,
it smelled like Star Wars, if that makes sense. The characters were perfectly written, the scenes were perfectly done. They almost, I don't know what kind of camera they filmed it with, but it was way better than the new sequels that they did. It just looked grittier. It looked real.
And that's what Star Wars is. And that's what made Star Wars
popular. Not Star Trek. It's not
Star Trek was shiny and amazing. And then when the prequels came out and everything was shiny and nice, like with some of the ships, everyone was kind of like, this isn't Star Wars. And that's why the prequels started to fail in the beginning.
Yep.
And then it got grittier and dirtier. And that's what real Star Wars is.
Yeah, I think that was Lucas's main. And you know what? In the end, it's our own fault because all of us were bitching and complaining about the sequel trilogy, how Lucas wasn't, giving us what we wanted, blah, blah. Nobody was going to be happy. Star Wars fans, we are our worst enemy. I'll agree to that.
Yeah. And Harrison Ford has said that multiple times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure.
Harrison Ford loves. All right. So if you want to talk about 2 properties that Harrison Ford is in that is owned by Disney, Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Yep.
He loves the character Indiana Jones.
He is Indiana Jones.
He will go multiple times. He's like, I will go back and play Indiana Jones whenever anybody wants me to.
Yeah.
I love Indiana Jones. What Indiana Jones
if I was Indiana Jones, I would still be playing it too.
You know what Indiana Jones doesn't have?
Space monkeys.
Fan levels on fans at the level of Star Wars. Conventions.
Yes.
People mobbing you on the street, like that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And
it's not on the same level.
Harrison Ford wants to be left alone. He's and he has
old.
said multiple times that he hates Star Wars fans.
I know.
He hates when they come up to him and say, "Oh, hey, Han Solo."
Yeah, I know. Because we ruin everything.
We are
can't ruin the guy.
People. We are.
If I saw him, I would never approach a celebrity, especially one like him, because I know he values his privacy. But these maniacs out there that Star Wars fans. There's a lot of crazy. And, I'm sure he's been accosted 1,001 times by these nerds trying to get them to sign their underwear or whatever. And that's why he's done with it. Like, he doesn't want to be bothered.
And being a star at that level and all the movies that he's done, and all of them are kind of overshadowed by Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, he's not his favorite role he's ever been. So that's why he's salty.
So it probably pisses him off even more. Yeah. I mean, play the president for God's sakes, and nobody cares.
Get off my plane. And he just played the president again in Captain America 4.
That's right. Well,
which actually I watched it. I went and saw that, and he 100% steals the show, the entire movie.
Well, he usually pretty much. He's a great actor.
It's basically a movie about him.
Really?
Like the movie is about Harrison Ford as the president who turns into Red Hulk, and Captain America's kind of just there.
Yeah,
it's not a Captain America movie in any way, shape, or form. It's basically a Hulk movie without the Hulk, with Red Hulk instead. But anyway, back to Star Wars. The new stuff that's coming out, like, if you want to talk about the new stuff, like Rogue One, great. Sequel trilogy, absolute trash. Force Awakens was okay.
I hated it.
It was okay in the moment.
I know some people thought it was okay. Like, you thought it was a stepping stone.
What about the moment?
Nope,
about in the moment,
didn't like
though?
it.
Like
didn't
when you first went to the theater.
I was the first one in that theater.
You weren't jacked up to see Star Wars again?
We were in line. I had tickets. I was center. I was the first one to run in. I had my Millennium Falcon t-shirt on or whatever. Ran in the theater. I had my wife take a picture of me. I was the first one that nobody else is in the theater, just me. I'm like super excited. And then as the movie started to progress, I realized what this was. It was just New Hope on basically the same planet with the same things. And then in the very end, they killed one of my favorite characters of all time. Roll credits. The heroes, my 3 favorite people, like in Star Wars, never got to see each other in the movie.
That's
Luke
huge.
never shows up in the movie except the very end.
That's huge.
I wanted to see Luke meet, even if all 3 weren't together, for Luke and Han to have a moment together on screen.
100%.
That would have maybe saved it. And they didn't do it.
1 million.
And don't tell me they didn't do it on purpose. They purposely did that to shatter all the dreams of all the legacy fans of this franchise. They didn't
because you heard what they said about it. They said when they talked about the new trilogy, it was the whole purpose of the new trilogy was to kill off the old guard and bring in the new guard. And they didn't.
Yeah, but where are they?
For whatever reason, I don't understand this part. Is they didn't want to give the fans what they wanted because of some principle. I don't get it as a business model. You could have all the new characters you want.
Yeah.
But if this is the new trilogy, have the old characters. But they said they wanted to kill them off so that you didn't focus on them anymore. And you focused on the new characters and cared about the new characters. And that was their whole purpose. And it didn't make any sense.
Why do this to the fans? It's not pop copy. It's not pop copy from Chappelle. It's not. Oh, why do this to the fans?
What do you want?
What do you want? Oh, F them. That's why. Like, that's it. Yeah. That's not a good business model. We're the ones who have all the money now. We are.
Guess what? I am the manager.
I am the manager. You're done. Like, that's who's running Disney at the moment. It's friggin' Raul, whatever, from the what's that movie? Forget his name. I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B. Yeah, Half Baked. Which they should make a sequel to that. I think it's time.
Oh yeah.
But that's who's running Disney. Why? F them. But like.
But people. No. It's not just Disney though. It's not just Disney. They've been doing this for forever with anything that has source material.
That you know what? It's the only reason.
Which is the biggest thing that I hate about Hollywood is
just
source material.
I know
the source material is what made it popular. Yes. It's what made it money. So if you're going to make a movie of it, just because you're a director who's an artist, and I need to put my mark on this, that's selfish as shit. Like
you're spitting in the fans.
You're basically making art of someone else's art. Stop trying to put your own signature on it. Like the biggest one that started all of this was X-Men.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer said that he didn't want one X-Men comic on set at any time.
Right.
And it's like,
why?
You're making an X-Men movie.
I know.
Why are you not? Why? And then Kevin Feige was actually working on that movie. And he is a huge comic book nerd.
Yeah.
He was the one who snuck comic books on set. And he was the one who was the voice to push Bryan Singer to do certain things. But you still, like, the movie, say what you want. The X-Men movies suck. Like, as a huge X-Men fan, I read the X-Men comics my whole life.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
The first X-Men movie, the whole premise of it, some machine that Magneto makes some things spin and it can turn people into mutants. Why is that? Why is that the premise? Why did you not do Sentinels?
I know.
Like,
I wanted Sentinels right off the bat. So bad. I thought that was going to happen.
The first episode of the animated series was Night of the Sentinels. And there's Sentinels breaking through buildings and trying to steal mutants. And you could have told the whole story of how humans and mutants hate each other.
You know why? I don't think that to do something like that, it would have cost so much more money. And I don't think they realized how big the comic book genre to the film industry was going to be. if you had made an X-Men after like Iron Man and all the, once they got it going, if then you did the X-Men saga, and they would have started with something like that. I think they were testing the waters because the big stupid machine that's all CGI doesn't cost anything.
Let's cross our fingers that when Marvel reintroduces the X-Men, they do the first movie right. I don't have high hopes, but
Wolverine's going to be a black chick. Cyclops is going to be deaf also.
Yeah.
Instead of Xavier being in the wheelchair, Jubilee will be in the wheelchair and she'll be 600 pounds.
No. They're just going to cast the chick that they cast as the witch in Wicked as Professor X.
Oh, yeah, she's supposed to be Storm, apparently. That bitch needs a sandwich.
Whatever.
But I don't care anymore. Like, they're going to ruin it. But, like, with Star Wars, like, it wasn't just the movies for me. If I told you, if we were like our 12-year-old selves, and that was my peak Star Wars, I think, when the old movies got reintroduced into the
special
theater.
edition.
So like that was peak for me. I rebought toys. I bought the VHSs, the DVDs.
Kenner Power of the Force action figures.
Yes. So like I have all those up in the attic. They're still hanging out. Like if you had told 12-year-old me Disney is buying Star Wars, which originally I was very excited about, and they're going to build a whole theme park for it, I would have lost my friggin' mind.
Well, because we already had Star Tours, and Star Tours is awesome.
I always loved it as a kid.
I was like, whoa, there's going to be more
on
Star
trees.
Tours?
Yes. I was like, fine, beautiful. And then they revealed what it was. And talk about just the knife was already driven into my chest. Now they're just turning and making sure I bleed out quicker when they take the blade out. Because
you could talk about Disney the same way. It's not Star Wars that's the problem. It's Disney that's the problem.
It's Disney. Because the lack of creative vision ruined Disney.
Yeah, Disney can't.
They don't know what to do with it.
I don't know what they did. They must have all the writers that wrote all these amazing stories and create like the whole
they had them liquidated.
The whole thing that made Disney great in the earlier stages was the fact that they were insanely good storytellers.
Yeah.
And then now,
say what you will about him, he's a good storyteller.
Yeah, same thing. He wrote a space opera and it turned into the biggest IP of all time.
People don't give him a lot of credit, which I know he's not the greatest visionary when it comes to the industry, but he knew how to write a good story. And to me, he did have a vision, and I loved it. I loved what he did with the original 3 movies, and even the sequel trilogy. Besides Jar Jar Binks, I like it. I could still watch it if they just Jar Jar out.
There's not even Jar Jar. Like Jar Jar's only one movie.
No, I know.
That made episode. That's like Rose in the other movies. They at least acknowledge that where the fans were so and Jar Jar was before the internet was big. Like
I know, my God,
people that was just word of mouth about how bad Jar Jar was.
But like you go back and you watch them now, I'd much rather watch those sequel trilogies, the prequels, than what Disney has produced by far. I'll watch them all day because at least you get a clear story. And you know where it's going. You know that it has a payoff at the end.
Well, you see the resurgence of the prequel trilogy because of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, the sequel trilogy came out. Bad, they brought the good,
exactly. In comparison, when you look at the sequel and the prequel trilogies, you look at them and you're like, the sequel trilogy was so horrific that you look at the prequels and you're like, I treated you so poorly, and I apologize.
Like an ex-girl who you just ghosted. Yeah. You're like, it was my fault. I was in a bad place. It's not you, it's me. Like that's what the sequel trilogies have done.
Yeah, I made assumptions, a knee-jerk reaction, and it was a mistake.
And did you have any desire to go to the Disney hotel, the Galactic Star Cruiser? No. Why?
Well, also because it was like $10,000 to go.
Oh yeah, the price aside, let's say if it was a normal price, why not?
Because there's no windows, so I would feel like I'm trapped in a box, and I would go
with all these strangers.
I would go Hulk smash, and I would take a lightsaber and try to cut my way out of this place. But like, the rooms are like cruise ship rooms. They were tiny little
we've already established Pete is
which
not
makes
a cruise
no
person.
sense. Like, why wouldn't you make this like the most super luxurious place of all time if you're going to charge that much? But supposedly it's like, so it was like an immersive experience where you would spend 3 days or 2 days, and you were on some adventure in space with these characters, and it's all these lame actors who are like who work on some like playhouse in Orlando somewhere, and they come in and they're like, oh, I could be an actor in Disney World. It's like, okay, you go get in your Tigger costume and shut up. And they go and they put you on some adventure, and you get to you get to play with or you get to see, you don't get to play with it, that like super state-of-the-art lightsaber that they built, that Imagineering built. So that's kind of cool. That was the only cool thing I wanted to see. And then other than that, like when I go to Disney, that's not the Disney experience I want. I don't want to sit and watch some like mystery dinner theater, murder mystery dinner.
That's basically what it was.
That's basically what it was. It was a 3-day murder mystery dinner. And you only get, and I'm like, I want to go to the parks. I don't want to sit inside this windowless building for a whole weekend. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I want to go out into the sun, and I want to ride rides. I want to eat a turkey leg. I want to sweat my balls off and eat a turkey leg. And there's nothing you can stop me. Like,
it's not Disney if I don't have swamp ass at the end of the day.
Exactly. And my feet hurt and my back hurts and I want to kill everyone.
It's a successful trip. But you're right.
Like, I had fun.
Would I do it again? Like you look at that hotel, that's the epitome of what Disney has done. They created a hotel that no one wanted to go to because of how ugly it was, how stupid the concept was. There's never been a cruise ship. Just the idea that during the Galactic Empire existence and the rebellion, people are just shelling out units to go on some lame ass cruise through space. And what? It gets attacked? The whole concept was retarded. And
but
look at
it's just failed opportunities. It had such potential.
Had opportunity, yes. If a Star Wars hotel would have been amazing. And if they made
Star Wars Hotel the most expensive hotel on the property, and it surpassed Grand Floridian, and they made it the most high-tech, amazing resort of all time,
it would have killed.
Would have went nuts.
Especially if in the ground floor, all right, picture this. Instead of some stupid cruise ship, imagine it's Echo Base. And by checking in, you are now a part, like you could do a little cosplay. It's now one of the bases of inside Star Wars. And they could even change it with the scene. If you did digital screens around the lobby, you could change it. You can make the outside look like it's Hoth. You can make the outside look like it's any planet. And instead of cosplaying some BS story, at least in the lobby, like you could just go up to your room and do whatever you want. But everyone who stays at the hotel, you can train to be a rebel pilot. And inside the lobby of this hotel, or attached to it somewhere,
gigantic
there is a ship, a training module that you can train to be an X-Wing pilot. And you have the most state-of-the-art, up-to-date VR, AR, whatever you want to do, experience where you're strapped into your X-Wing.
Yeah, it'd be like the Star Wars battle pod. That thing in the arcade?
Yes, the Star Wars battle pod, but like max.
So like, it's on steroids. Yeah.
On steroids.
Like
you take the battle do this pod experience
and give it to Disney Imagineering and then be like, go
just
crazy.
Make this better. And you only get to ride that experience if you're staying at the hotel. Would you want to stay at that hotel?
1,000,000%.
100%. I would have spent any amount of money to stay there at least one night so I could get in that battle pod.
You could have a bar that's like just like the cantina that's in Galaxy's Edge, but make it like better.
But make it
You could make like a best. You could make Here's would be my idea. Make all the different areas of the place into different planets.
Perfect.
So like you have a Bespin restaurant or something, like a Cloud City restaurant, so that you walk into a private maybe a private dining room, and it's like a 7-course meal or something. And it looks like the room where Han and Leia walk in and Darth Vader's standing there with Boba Fett.
Perfect.
Like that would be awesome. And then you could have the pool look like Naboo. And you could have the, like you said, the check-in area look like Echo Base or Yavin or whatever. Like there's so many opportunities.
So much potential.
And the grounds could have looked really cool. They could serve like super experimental, like when you see like those 5-star Michelin star like restaurants where they have that really like crazy looking food, and like the drinks with the dry ice in them or whatever you want to do, like you could have done stuff like that. And then this whole that experience, you could do like you could have a Jedi temple for kids, where like it's like a kids play area and they can go like play with like Jedis and they could teach them how to do whatever. Like there's so many opportunities, and you could have made this the most expensive resort on the property, and everyone would have went nuts.
Everyone would have went.
You wouldn't have been able to get a reservation there for years. It would have been sold out. Even if with Disney's popularity not being that high, if you just made this whole place based on the original trilogy,
and then
a couple of the prequels, and you could even sprinkle in some of the sequel stuff because you know that they want to sell the sequels. And they want to sell the properties. And
if 10 to 15% was the new shit and the majority was the old, like giving us what we want, it would have been super popular.
100%.
Especially with state-of-the-art experiences that you can't have any other place in the world for Star Wars fans, that would have been huge.
And if you made it like super high-tech, where you scan your magic band to get in your room and the door goes...
All the sound effects is still running throughout. If you had a droid, like just droids rolling around inside the hotel for no reason.
Well, they do that at Galaxy's Edge, so they could definitely have done it at the hotel.
Exactly. Like I would have loved that.
They have these. They just announced the new ones. They did this whole presentation. These little like chicken droid things that are in the new Mandalorian movie, and they're going to be AI controlled and walking around Galaxy's Edge. And I'm like, who's going to be the first person that just yoinks one of these things and tries to run out of the
grabs it and runs?
And it's just like, it's mine. I'm going to sell this on eBay.
Like even the rides in Galaxy's Edge, like the 2 rides I've been on both, they're okay. Like, how do you not do a pod racing ride? Like, how awesome would that have been?
Because that doesn't sell new merchandise of the new movies. And
but you could have had. It's stupid. Yeah, just like Test Track. Remember, you get to design your own car on Test Track. I wanted to design my own pod racer and race Anakin Skywalker.
So they did announce that they are making some changes.
Are they going to bulldoze it?
No, the Smuggler's Run is going to have a new mission now.
Yeah, so that new mission. Blah, blah,
Mandalorian and Grogu, so that way they can start pushing that movie because that movie is going to come out. It's all about promotion. That literally is what Hollywood
Studios. That's all it is.
Let's push our IPs on people and promote movies and things that are coming out.
I'm just not into it. I have zero interest in going back to Galaxy's Edge. I could care less. I saw it one time. That's all. I'm one and done.
All right. So let's talk about positives. Let's try to get a little back on track about some positives.
There are none.
Did you watch Andor?
No.
Why?
Because I don't care. I told you I don't care anymore.
No, but Andor is from Rogue One, which you said was a phenomenal movie, and
I know
the show Andor.
I know, but when did Andor come out?
Feeling.
Where did Andor? When did Andor come out?
I don't care.
After
it has the same feeling as
after The Last Jedi.
I know, I get it, but it has nothing to do with it.
Andor
has the Star Wars feeling to it.
This
you watch it. Please humor me. Humor me and watch this show.
Nope.
Because there's a season 2 coming out. No. And this show is the prequel to.
I wouldn't wipe my ass with that show.
It has the same Star Wars feeling though. It's good. It's actually well written.
But this is the problem.
It's actually well written though.
As I've told our buddy Mike, you know the Mike I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. This is the problem. Star Wars fans that give in to Disney like this. I'm at the point where even if the thing is amazing, by watching it, I'm saying to Disney, I am okay with what you've done to my beloved Star Wars. And I just won't do that. I can't be a part of it. I will not be culpable and complicit with this agenda. I can't. I didn't pull the trigger, but I'm holding the gun for my friend.
You're being a little ridiculous. because your one view of not watching it on the streamer is really gonna you got shaking in their boots.
Do you know my nickname? The nickname my wife gave me?
I can
remember what it was. You don't remember
it? No.
My wife calls me the frivolous vigilante because I stand up for stuff that doesn't need to be stood up for. And to me, this is my line. I drew my line in the sand.
This is the hill you're going to die on?
This is the hill I'm going to die on. My one view means more to me than obviously it means to Disney. but at least I know I'm not giving my money to them so that they can continue to pee and shit all over my favorite thing in the world.
But wait,
Won't do it.
You watched Mandalorian.
I did but I did that because
now we're backpedaling.
I did it because of you and my other friend Tim screaming at me to the heavens to watch this.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
So now will you trust me when I tell you that there's something that's good?
Because
I'll tell you the stuff that's not good.
No, because
the stuff that I've watched that it's serviceable because I'm like, it has a Star Wars shell on it, and I go, oh, well,
I'll tell you exactly why.
It gives me member berries.
No, yeah, but I'm done with that because that just
Skeleton Crew serviceable. Skeleton Crew serviceable, but not good.
It's all false hope. I'll tell you exactly why. You guys bothered me to watch Mandalorian. Before Mandalorian came out, I was done with Star Wars. I'm like, I'm finished. I don't care anymore. I'm done. Then Mandalorian came out. You guys said you have to watch it. It's awesome. Blah blah blah. I was like, all right, I guess I'll give in. I'll let Disney back into my life. And I watched it. I enjoyed it. And then what did they do right after? What came out right after The Mandalorian?
You sound like an ex-girlfriend from high school.
I let her back in.
You just keep getting abused by your boyfriend. But you're just like,
he's gonna change.
I can change him.
He left. He took money off my dresser in the middle of the night.
He said he'd call me back, and he called me back.
What came out after Mandalorian season 2?
I don't know.
Another show that is really bad.
Oh, Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett.
That show is trash.
And that
they ruined the greatest character, one of the greatest characters in Star Wars.
Thank you. So
I'll admit that. But I'm telling you right now,
Andor back in. You let your ex-boyfriend back in the house, and he's gonna change, and it's not gonna happen. But they're just gonna drive that dagger right back through you.
But don't you trust me?
No, I don't.
Andor is a good show.
No, I trust you. And it probably is. I've heard from a lot of people.
We have the same thoughts when it comes to Star Wars.
I understand, but at this point, like I said, every show
now you're just being stubborn.
I am, because
when you could enjoy something that's good. You could enjoy something that's good.
For every one good thing they do 10 terrible things.
And that's fine. I don't watch the terrible things. I watch the good things. Like, I didn't watch The Acolyte. The Acolyte is absolute garbage trash that shouldn't even be Star Wars.
No.
So that was an awful movie or awful show. So was Ahsoka. Ahsoka is trash too, even though they brought back Hayden Christensen. Like,
all trash.
Both of those shows were absolute garbage. Skeleton Crew, for what it was, it didn't need to be a Star Wars show. It could have been anything else. But it was basically Goonies in space. Like, whatever that was. Who gives a shit? But Andor is basically a prequel movie because it's movie level cinematography and special effects. It's not.
Yeah, I know. They said they put money into it.
Yeah, it's not the sausage machine that they've been churning out for these other shows with these awful CG, awful sets. Like, the guys who made Andor built huge physical sets. There's so many practical effects. It brings you back to the era of the original trilogy where there was a ton of practical effects, and Rogue One where there was a ton of practical effects. Like, it has the same flavor. It feels like you're watching Rogue One, and the acting is great.
I'm crushing your head. I'm not saying I'm never going to watch it. I obviously one day I'll be bored and I'm just going to put it on. But at this point, I'm not going to waste my time, because every time they dangle the carrot in front of me and I eat the carrot, and then they're going to starve me for 10 years with trash things like The Acolyte and Ahsoka, all this crap that comes out that could have been good had they just let someone whoever did Andor, they should have let them do all of it instead of focusing on directors that have no idea what they're doing, no respect for the original creation that was George Lucas, his vision. They have no respect for it. They don't care about it. They don't even watch the original trilogy. So why would I give my time up?
Because I'd said that it's actually good.
I understand that. And it might be good. But if I watch it, it's me admitting or just giving in to Disney. I'm done doing that. Like, I'm not, there's so many other things I could be watching on television that they've taken all the joy out of the Star Wars world for me. I don't even play my old Star Wars games anymore. Like I used to play all my old Star Wars games, like on N64 and stuff. Like I don't even play those anymore. I didn't care. If they come out with a new Battlefront, I don't care.
Well, yeah, the Star Wars games have never been good. There's never been a good Star Wars game. I don't care what anybody says.
Knights of the Old Republic is great.
That's one of the biggest failed transitions. I've never seen someone
Rogue Squadron
creating an IP and putting it into a video game and making it successful.
Rogue Squadron was great. That's a good game. Knights of the Old Republic was great. Shadows of the Empire was great. I mean,
the only one that I played was Dark Forces back on my Mac in like 1994.
Fallen Order. The Fallen Order was good.
It was a button masher. You basically ran around and tapped the same button over and over and over again, like you're playing Turtles in Time.
I don't know. I mean, there was stuff to do.
Of course it was. You went up to. There was a bunch of stormtroopers that weren't going to kill you, and you just went tap 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 tap, and then it was like what was that show? That was that game, Destiny something. It was like that. It was like it was like these like samurais and stuff.
The Obi-Wan game for Xbox was awesome. That was you should have played that one.
So how you are with movies and TV shows, I am with video games. I have given totally up on video games.
I mean, I know
I did a bunch of Battlefront, but like
they've made a lot of shitty Star Wars games. I'll admit that, but there are some serviceable ones out.
One that I enjoyed was Republic Commando.
I remember that. That was like Dune, but like with Star Wars.
Yeah, and you were a squad, and you got to like jump from character to character, so you could like switch from the sniper to the munitions guy to the regular soldier, and it was that one was cool.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you that.
I think you should give it a shot. I think that would be give Andor season 1 a shot. Watch it. We'll do another episode on your thoughts because season 2 is coming out, and the trailer for season 2 looks great, but everything else that Disney's done with Star Wars when it comes to TV shows, movies, everything, they don't have a good track record. The amount of things that they've made that are good are outweighed by the things that are bad by 1,000,000%.
I agree. And that's why there's no hype right now for me.
No, of course
there's nothing. It's flatlined.
And I saw this thing. They were talking about Kathleen Kennedy leaving on Instagram, and there was a post that showed the timeline of Star Wars content that's coming out in the next like 10 years.
God.
And there's like some Taika Waititi movie coming out. He needs to go away forever.
Yeah, he sucks. I don't know who's told him he's allowed to direct movies. He is trash.
What I don't understand is this is the biggest one that is a big like head scratcher. It's like does Rian Johnson have like photos of the executives
I say
at a Diddy party or something?
Kathleen,
like this, he has to have some kind of blackmail on them.
All the executives in Hollywood, she must have pictures of them doing the most heinous shit imaginable.
No. Rian Johnson has it of Kathleen Kennedy.
That too.
How is he getting more work when he came in?
I don't know how she gets work.
What you say about Force Awakens, like Force Awakens was a terrible movie, but it's not the worst of the trilogy. And after people watched it, people were still kind of like, okay, we'll see where we see Luke at the end. We're going to get to see Luke next episode. That's going to be good. Everyone likes Luke. Good.
It definitely got people's hopes up.
Rian Johnson comes in and absolutely obliterates it and basically came out and said that he wanted to just turn everything upside down. And Mark Hamill even said, after reading the script, he went up to Rian Johnson and said to him, "This is not Luke Skywalker."
Yes, but then why would he do it?
And then he said, well, because also he's a liberal cuck. But he said to him, he goes, and he wants a paycheck because Mark Hamill hasn't done anything since voicing the Joker.
Yes,
like he's like a working actor. He basically is living off of his Luke Skywalker checks.
Residuals for Joker, and he played Cockknocker in James.
Cockknocker. That's his biggest. That's the biggest role. His biggest role ever. Hey kids, it's Mark Hamill.
He did that one episode of Simpsons in like
but
1998.
He said to him, "This isn't Luke Skywalker, but it's not my job to write the movie. My job is to read the script and then put it up on the and act out whatever you're putting out on the script. I don't write scripts." But he said that he's like making the statement that this is not who Luke Skywalker is, and he is like it was almost like a protest of it, but they had already written it.
I know he came out and criticized it after the fact. I still blame him for taking the role. I understand you it's hard to put yourself in that mindset, like I'm a struggling actor, because that's what Mark Hamill is. Nobody's hiring him, and here's a paycheck from Disney. It's very hard to turn this down. But just like Lucas, he should have got some assurances. I will sign on to play my most famous character of all time. I want assurances that you are going to handle it properly before I sign anything. And Leia should.
Harrison Ford was more like, we need to back up a Brinks truck to your house, and then you'll say yes. And he was like, okay, I'll do it.
Carrie Fisher should have did the same, and Lucas, before he sold.
Carrie Fisher was probably like,
he should have.
How much coke is going to be on the set?
Yeah.
I need to make sure craft services needs to have an ample supply of cocaine.
It's like Pam and Archer. Just has cocaine whipped cream and cocaine lollipops.
But he is Luke Skywalker. You can't recast him. He has power.
That's what I mean.
He could have swung that lightsaber around in his pants, but I don't think he has one.
Well, he should have had more respect.
You look at his social media posts, he doesn't have a cock and balls.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother problem in Hollywood, but you could have at least respected the character that made you.
He could have protested it.
I would have held out. They're not going to do it without you.
Exactly.
You're not going to do a new Star Wars with all the original characters and not have Luke in it. So you could have held out a little bit longer. How are you going
to end the Skywalker trilogy? Skywalker, like whatever you want to talk about, the whole Skywalker story. How are you going to end that without Luke Skywalker?
Oh, no, we have Rey Skywalker now. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Rey Skywalker.
She gets her own movie.
Even though she is going to be getting her own movie. Yeah, originally, it was going to be... So getting back to that list, apparently there was going to be a whole trilogy, but
trilogy for Rey, another
one. They changed to her restarting the Jedi Order and stuff like that. But now it's going to be just one movie of that. So we're getting more
instead
Rey.
Of losing $1 billion, they'll just lose probably $500 million.
We're getting more Rey. Yay!
Excellent! Yay!
What everybody wants.
Be watching it.
And then apparently there's some other movie that's coming out. They're doing like a Rogue Squadron movie.
They've been saying that for years. Rogue Squadron was supposed to come out. They shelved it.
Well, because they had some like woman director that was going to be like, it's going to be all women pilots, and then everyone was like, yeah, no. And then we don't want our X-wings like scraping the curbs and stuff.
I'm gonna kill myself.
And then there's going to be apparently some movie with Ryan Gosling as a Jedi, which I don't know what the hell that is. And then there's another trilogy. Apparently they're making another trilogy after that takes place after like all this Mandalorian stuff, whatever that's done, and after the Rey Skywalker thing is done, they're creating a new trilogy with all new characters, all new storyline. Who I have no idea what it's going to be about, because the only Jedi really that's left is Rey. So there's going to be no Jedi. Well, but that may be good. A movie with no Jedis in it.
Sure,
might be a good thing for Star Wars.
Yeah,
like Andor doesn't have any Rogue One didn't have any Jedis other than Darth Vader in the last second, and that scene, that amazing scene from Rogue One, was a last minute ad that originally wasn't in there, and then they were like, wait, we should do this, and it ends up becoming the most epic Star Wars.
One of the greatest scenes in Star
all
Wars
time.
History. Yep, that's what I wanted. I wanted all of that. Just bottle that one. What was it? 5 minutes, if that. 2.5 minutes.
The biggest problem that happened was when they came out with that Solo movie. That Solo movie didn't do well, and it was the first Star Wars project.
It's because of Last Jedi.
I know, but it was the first Star Wars project that didn't really do well at all and really bombed. And then it scared the studio into doing more Solo movies, meaning solo characters. Yeah. So the Obi-Wan show.
They were going to give Lando his own movie.
Well, apparently that's coming back out now. They're doing that again with Donald Glover.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
Nobody wants to see that.
No. Who wants to watch a whole movie about him, mining gas in Cloud City or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're making the original idea was they were going to have an Obi-Wan movie, possibly an Obi-Wan trilogy. And that was supposed to kick off everything. And they were going to bring Ewan McGregor, and it was going to be Ewan McGregor like hiding out and learning from Qui-Gon Jinn and then fighting a fully powered Darth Vader. And it was going to be this epic standoff. And you think about it, Darth Vader's the greatest movie villain of all time. No argument. Obi-Wan is another is probably one of the best characters from Star Wars, top to bottom. Like when you take him from prequel and original trilogy, and if you add in like Clone Wars and whatever, like the cartoons or whatever, one of the best characters. Like you could say top 3 characters in the entire Star Wars like canon. And you have him like hiding out, down on his luck, like not using the Force. And then, but like talking with Qui-Gon and then like getting back into it and like kind of like training and becoming more powerful to try and fight Darth Vader and hide Luke and Leia from him. That would have been, and then you could have, and then they said they were going to bring back Darth Maul. With his robot legs and stuff like that. They were going to do all these cool things, and it was going to be awesome. And I saw like a whole storyboard thing that they did of what that show was supposed to be. And then we get Obi-Wan, hanging out with
Leia.
baby Leia. And I'm like, what do we do? And then at the end, he has to say the hello there, like, because everyone will go, he said the thing.
I remember.
He said the thing. But like the fight between him and Hayden Christensen when they brought him back, was awesome. It was pretty good, like for the show. Like it was epic. And like if you could have turned that into a movie, especially with like the star power of like having Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor back, I think it could have been fantastic.
You could have even had used the Force Qui-Gon. You could have had
you could have had Liam Neeson in it.
Liam Neeson, he would have did it. Who cares? He'll do anything.
And it would have, well, obviously, you look at the movies he's come out, he'll do anything.
And he doesn't even really have to be in the movie. He's just a Force ghost.
You take those characters and you put them all in a movie, and you'll get the member berries of the prequel trilogy for the people who are the ones who are your core fan base now, like the ones who want to buy all the stuff.
But they don't want that. They don't care.
I know they don't want that. They want something. I don't even know what they want. I don't know what they want anymore.
What do you want? It's not
what do you want?
Simple. It's not that simple.
I literally don't know what they want anymore. I don't get it. No. It doesn't make any sense. Want our money.
It all comes down. They just want our money. They want us.
I know they want our money, but they're failing at doing that.
Money. They're
failing.
But that's right. Yeah, but by you and Mike and all these other guys continuing to buy their stuff and go to their things.
I don't buy any of their stuff.
You're going to Disney.
Anything?
You're going to Disney World.
Yeah, I'm going, but that's not supporting Disney. I mean, Star Wars is Disney.
Scab.
Weren't you just there?
No.
Were you just there like a year or two ago, or a year ago? Didn't you go with your brother-in-law?
No.
Pretty sure I saw a picture of you on Facebook.
I was like,
pretty sure.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure I saw.
I think it was. Sure about that? That's why. I think it was 2 years ago we went.
Oh, I forget. 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when Mandalorian season 3 came out.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, but you
that's
still
why
went.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back for a while. I'm going to Universal Studios.
At the same time,
Universal.
Every once in a while, there is a good project like a diamond in the rough in the midst of all this trash.
How dare you quote Aladdin?
I know, but it's a bunch of trash. It's a bunch of street rats. And then there is a couple diamonds in the rough. I will say that. And
I'm gonna go to Disney and
one of those,
the only in the face.
One of those is Andor and Mandalorian season 1 and possibly season 2, and that's it. The rest of it, you can have it, you can take it, you can shove it up your ass. I don't want it.
Next time I go, I'm going to go to Galaxy's Edge. I'm going to find a Disney adult, a 40-year-old man, screaming that, there's the Millennium Falcon. I'm going to roundhouse kick him in the face and get booted out for life. And I'm going to leave with my hands held high, like Judd Nelson at the end of Breakfast Club. I'm just going to put one arm up as I get
I'm pretty sure your hands will be behind your back. But the stormtroopers will come and put you in shackles.
Stormtroopers.
They'll put you in binders.
That's fine.
That would be cool if you got out of line and they put you in binders
binders
and then threw you in real Star Wars jail.
That would actually be too cool. and they wouldn't.
Yeah,
do
but
that.
you know what that would do? That would get people to want to act out.
Yes.
And then it would just be,
100%.
it would be
Everyone would want to
absolutely
be in
pure
jail.
chaos.
Yep. Everyone would want to go to Star Wars jail.
Everyone's like, oh, if you just do something crazy, you'll get into Star Wars jail. You'd have people hanging from the Falcon. You'd have like people running around with their lightsabers, just hitting people in the back of the knee. Just smack some old lady behind the knee. And,
but then it would be a fun park. There'd be a reason to go.
It'd be like a pure chaos. It'd be like an Outer Rim territory, like they say that Galaxy's Edge is.
I just can't. The state of Star Wars is so depressing, it's not even worth my time anymore. And that's how I feel.
There's not a lot that's salvageable. And if they keep going down this current path, and when we saw Mandalorian and we all thought that Jon Favreau was going to save Star Wars,
I got fooled.
I had hope.
You got fooled, Outlander.
I felt like Luke Skywalker again. I'm like, yes, there's good in him. We can fix this. We can turn him back. And then it's just all gone to shit.
I agree.
And this is why we reject it now, because the current agenda, or whatever you want to call it, that they're trying to do is just absolutely ruining everything about our childhood.
This world sucks. That's what it comes down to.
I'm ready to get off.
Where's
my stop? Where's my stop?
Jack, I would love to go into outer space and never come back.
Well,
incredible.
Then you'd have to actually get to space, and then space isn't real. And
here we go. We're gonna see.
We never landed on the moon, so Star Wars will never.
We're gonna have our friend Brian on the pod next time. I think that we're done with this episode, right? We're done with Star Wars. One of the next episodes, we're gonna get our friend Brian on the pod, and maybe our friend Greg, and we're gonna do some conspiracy theory, and you will not be disappointed because Brian shouldn't even be allowed to have an internet connection. There's got to be some sort of legal law.
Me and Brian are kind of on the same wavelength.
You're close. You're close to being removed from the internet. Brian should not be allowed on either.
My Instagram feed has changed a lot.
We're going to do an episode on your Instagram feed too.
My Instagram feed isn't as entertaining as it was at your brother's.
You got to get on it, pal.
All the mental illness is gone and has just changed into things that would get me canceled.
That's fine.
And conspiracy theories.
That's fine. It's all good. It's all
9/11 conspiracy theories, conspiracy theories about that certain country in the Middle East that runs our entire country.
Well,
stuff like that.
The space lasers.
Basically stuff. Oh yeah, how Maui got burned by space lasers, and how we never landed on the moon.
Ben Shapiro's fault.
And how the shadows don't line up on the footage. And
they were trying to drive down the real estate prices in Maui, so they hit it with the space laser.
How was there a camera that watched the lunar lander leave the moon when
they left it on the thing?
Yeah, sure. And there was a 3-second delay, and someone from Earth that was controlling it, and yet it was perfectly framed by Stanley Kubrick.
Save the nonsense for later. This is rejected now. The world sucks. Keep watching. I hope.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't done so, share the video around or the pod around. It's going to help spread it and get us more views, and more episodes will come your way. So help us out. See you next time.
Theoretical internet dollars.
Internet money.